We're going to now head
Thank
over
you.
to the next session. This is a great segue because we just talked about social media and creating value through ways, incorporating your racing. Obviously, you're going to create social media for your sponsors, but you don't have to race to create value for sponsors. You just have to have really good social media and you have to have a good presence. Social media is changing, it's evolving. There are closed platforms, there are open platforms. There are some platforms that reward the number of followers, and there are some platforms that reward the quality of content and the resolution of content. And I've learned a lot about social media and how it's evolved through Megan Meyer. Megan is the social expert. She is a social media coach, and she's taught me most of what I've learned throughout all this sponsorship development seminars and summits that we've done. So let's pull Megan up. Megan, are you there? Actually, there she
I
is.
am.
Hey, so real quick, how has social media evolved or changed since you got started in racing?
Oh my gosh, it changes every single day. So I got started back when I was in college. It was around 2011. And at that time, I never used social media to promote our racing team, but I studied graphic design. And as part of our homework assignment for a social media class, we had to start a Facebook page, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter, and have a blog. And our homework assignments was to post on each platform. So that's really where I got started. In 2011 was around the time when businesses started using social media to market themselves. And so naturally, I used it to start pages for our racing team because I didn't really have anything else to post about. And it has just grown so much since then. And no, I kind of miss those days. It was much simpler. Now it's like you got to worry about the algorithms and everything changing.
It is changing, and it's changing fast. It's so how do closed systems versus open systems work? And what I mean by that is I know Facebook, you have a number of followers, and Instagram, you have a number of followers. YouTube and TikTok, that content potentially could reach anybody if the algorithms pick it up and if the content and the quality is good and people are sharing it. I'm a young racer. I'm just starting out. I don't know what platform to be on. Do I need to be on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, YouTube, X, Twitter? Where do I go? How do I start?
Yes. So great question. I would say start with less so you don't get overwhelmed. So Facebook and Instagram are the two biggest ones, and they are the easiest ones to use. Everybody is on there. So you're very likely to reach the audiences that you are trying to reach. So one thing I always teach is focus on who your sponsors are trying to reach, who are their customers, because that's going to help you promote to the right audience. And so Facebook does skew to the older, older people, whereas Instagram's kind of more middle age. TikTok is younger. I feel like Snapchat is kind of coming back. Twitter, I don't know. I don't really use Twitter or Threads very much. And then YouTube is kind of used by anybody from my 2-year-old to grandma and grandpa. And so really depends on, number one, who you are trying to reach. And then also not trying to do all at once. So I would say just stick with Instagram and Facebook if you are just getting started. If you're more intermediate, then I would add on YouTube. And YouTube is something that I've been focusing a lot more today and this year. And I post shorts videos every single day on my YouTube channel. I literally take what I've posted on Facebook and Instagram Reels and just save it to my phone, post it on YouTube Shorts. And I've almost at 2,000 followers this year, and it's just been a couple months, and that's literally all I do is just post YouTube Shorts every single day. I am doing a couple more long form regular videos. That's about once a month. I do want to do more with that. Just haven't quite had the time to film them yet. But really, like, those are the three main ones, and those are the three that I teach inside my course, the Driven by Social Academy. And really, you can't go wrong if you're using those three. The other ones like TikTok or Snapchat or Twitter or Threads, they're a lot more limited on audience because not everybody uses them. And so again, goes back to, who are you trying to reach? Is it within your target market, your sponsor's target market? And making sure this is actually the platform that they are hanging out on, so that way you can speak to the right audiences.
And then you have a very logical, structured approach. You actually schedule your posts and you have a calendar, and you know when you're going to create posts or when you're going to create content to post in the future. Can you talk about the importance of scheduling and being consistent?
Yes, it makes it so much easier if you schedule out your content. So there's a lot of third-party apps that you can use, like Later, Planoly, Plan. There's tons of them. And honestly, I've never really used them because most of them you have to pay for if you want all of the features, and I don't want to pay for them. I just use the Meta Business Suite. So it used to be called Creator Studio until Instagram and Facebook created Meta. So now it is called the Meta Business Suite, and Facebook owns Instagram. So you can go into the Creator Suite for free, and you can use all of the features on Facebook and Instagram there, and it will let you to schedule your post. And so what I love about using this is that way it tells you the active times of when your followers are on, and it's
Wow.
specific to your page, not just overall everybody on Instagram or Facebook. It's specific to you. So for example, excuse me, for example, on my Instagram, my key time to post is around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So about now this time, and I'm in Central Time. For the Randy Meyer Racing team page, which is my dad's racing team, the best time to post on his page is 11 a.m. Central Time on Instagram. So you can tell we have different times, and that's because we have different audiences that follow us, and different people based on their habits and their routine and their job, they're on social media at different times. And so I always look at that when I'm posting on my page or for a client's, is I just pull up the Meta Business Suite, and you can do it on a desktop, or you can do it on a mobile version. There's an app for that. Again, it's completely free, and it will literally tell you when to post.
Nice.
And then what's great about it too is it's evolved a lot as well. And so now there's a calendar feature as well. So you can go in there and you can schedule out for the entire month of October what you're going to post, as long as you already have the pictures and videos and your captions. If you have all that ready to go, you can go ahead, plan it, tell it exactly what day and what time to post for you. And you can just sit back and,
Nice.
go drink some wine or whatever you want to do, because it'll do it for you. So I love that.
Nice. Now, you talk a lot about the platform. Is there a format that works best, whether it's high resolution or vertical versus horizontal? And also the length of the content, does that matter? Do you score points with the algorithms by having a certain duration of content and video?
So I do have an entire points system with the algorithm, and as far as duration goes, the shorter the better. And so
Okay.
one thing that I've noticed right now that is trending is, of course, Reels. Everybody knows that the short form vertical videos is trending, but if you can get them to be really, really short, it's a lot easier to get more views because people are going to rewatch it over and over and over again. And you might notice that the next time you are scrolling on social media. So I love to post highlight videos, ones that are a minute long. 90 seconds is the maximum you can post for Reels.
Okay.
But again, if you can get something that's like 8 to 10 seconds, it's more likely to get more views, especially if you post a longer caption with it. Because if you notice, if you're watching Reels and you click on like the 3 dots to keep reading the caption, it pulls the caption up on top of the video while the video is still playing. So the longer it takes you to read that caption, the more plays the video is getting. So it's like a little hack that you
That's a
can do
great
if
hack.
you're Yeah, if you're really trying to get more video views, post something shorter and have a really long caption to go with it, and try it out. You know, social media is all about testing things out. So that's one thing that I have noticed that is starting to be a new trend. And but like I said, short vertical videos are always the best. So
Vertical.
I recommend staying away from posting horizontal videos on social media. It's a lot. I mean, obviously you can do it on YouTube. Facebook, it's okay. Instagram, it's a no. And the reason why you want vertical is because if you look at your phone, you look at it long ways, and so you want the post to take up the whole real estate on your screen. So if you're posting something horizontal, it'll just be like a third, and it's a lot harder to see. Most of the time people are just going to scroll right past it. So you want to take up as much space on the screen as you can. So always do vertical videos or pictures.
And then is there a value to the resolution at all, or does it matter? Because 4K seems like it's overkill. It's going to take up too much space. I think everything's 1080, or am I right? Does that matter?
Yeah. 1080 is perfect for social media. You don't want to go too low because then it'll get pixelated. Again, like you said, you don't want to go too high because then it's overkill. It's just going to bog it down. So yeah, just say, 1080. And honestly, like with my post on social media, 75% of it is just what I film on my phone. And so, as long as you film it on your phone and you don't, try to edit it too much, the resolution should be perfect.
So I'm curious how we heard a lot today about telling stories, and the value of social media is that you can share a story and tell your story to those who are following. When you're only making 8 to 10 second or even 90-second shorts, how do you tell your story? What's the secret there to getting the point across, or are those just highlights that then draw the viewer to a longer format video on YouTube or something? How does that work exactly?
You can do it a couple different ways. So that is one way. You could also do it to where it's a series, and you can do it where, if you want to give it a name, you can, or you can just make it. What I do is I have content categories, and one of my categories is about me or personal information. And so I recommend at least once a quarter, but really like once a month would be great to just do a post where you introduce yourself and talk about how you got started racing, why you race, the vehicle that you do, all that stuff. Because especially the more you start posting on social media, the more followers you'll get and the less they know about you, and they're not going to go and scroll back a month ago and watch a video. So you can definitely repost it, or if you want to split it up. So let's say you have 30 seconds. What I like to do is ask my audience, like in stories, put up a question box and tell them to leave a question. So I'll ask them, what do you want to know about me? And then for each answer that comes in, I can turn that into a short reel and turn that into a series where I'm telling them about myself, how I got started racing, how long I've been racing, why I'm in this car or this class, anything like that. So there's a couple different strategies you can go about it. If you want to do just one long form video and drive traffic to that one, you can. So let's say you've got a really cool video that's over on YouTube. You can definitely use your Instagram and Facebook to drive traffic to that YouTube video. Or if you want to, you can either take that video, cut it up into little ones, or if you want to record ones where you are just talking to the camera and answering their questions. There's so many different strategies how you can do it, and it's really easy to do once you start thinking about it and you're like, oh yeah, I can make a video about this and this and this and this.
How much of the videos that you create are just your own creativity versus sponsors requesting certain content and videos? Do the sponsors drive the creativity, or is that just all you knowing what the sponsor wants?
It is mostly me. And so I do have agreements with my sponsors that I am going to make content for them. So whenever we are sitting down and we're determining what deliverables am I going to give to them, content for social media is one of the biggest ones. And I do this in two ways. So the first way is I have a videographer that's a really good friend of mine that I've worked with for years. A couple people in here might know him. It's Jeremy Cross with Dirt Collective. And so he used to be major player in the dirt world. Not as much now because I know he's in other industries, but he comes with me to every single one of my races and we record videos all weekend long. So we do videos for my vlog series for YouTube, and then we also do commercials for the sponsors. And so I will post some of those on my social media feed, those commercials. Some of them only the sponsor gets, and they can, so I'll make the commercial for them. They can use it however they want to. And then the second way that we deliver content for sponsors with social media is just content that I make when I'm at home or I'm at the race shop. And so my main sponsor is Gunk. And the biggest product that we are promoting this year with them is the engine degreaser. And so I've just done homemade videos where I put my phone on a tripod, I open the hood of my daily driver, and I'm like, okay, look, here's the before, look how dusty and dirty this engine is. And then I'll show, like, I spray on the degreaser, let it sit for 10 minutes, and then you see the after. And so it's very simple, very homemade, doesn't require much editing, anything like that. I just add like closed captions onto the video. That's about it. And those videos do just as well, if not better, than the highly, high quality, high produced commercials that we get.
I was going to ask about that. Because sponsors obviously want you to make videos and they have certain requirements. And when you make a video for a sponsor, it's very hard for it not to appear commercial because you're promoting a sponsor, but you don't want to look like you're a real commercial promoting, that you're a paid representative. You want to be able to tell your story and incorporate that sponsor. What is that balance between keeping it real versus the commercialism that sponsors actually seek because they want you to hold that product, on camera? And sometimes maybe it's probably not the best thing to do to tell your story because you want your story to be independent of the sponsors. How do you balance that? That's tough for most racers.
Yeah, I think people are getting a lot more familiar with finding that balance nowadays. And I noticed like Lucas Oil, they have been posting ones where they go around to their ambassadors and like they go to their hometown or their home track and they show what their house looks like or their shop or what they do when they're not at the track and stuff like that. So it's sharing their story, but you're also getting the promotion because you see like in the B-roll of them pouring the oil into their four-wheeler or, their side by side or something like that. And so, yeah, it's really just getting creative with it. Yeah, you don't want it to be super salesy, but again, like they want you to be the face of it because you have a following and people know who you are. If it's just another commercial for Lucas Oil where all you see in the video is just the product, yeah, that's cool, but it's not very attractive. So if there is that human element in the video, it's going to draw a lot more attention to it, and that applies with social media too. So like for example, if I make a post where it's just the car going down the track, I know like especially with off-road we get really cool shots of the cars like in the desert or doing a jump. Those look great and those types of videos can look really awesome. But if I just sit here and I take a selfie and I post it right now on Instagram, it's going to do way better than the picture or video of the car or the truck. And that's just because there's a human in it. So I think companies are kind of recognizing that there needs to be like an ambassador or someone in the commercial. So as long as you can be that person and try to tell your story about, why you use this product and how it's helped you out, whether it's at home or at the track, you can kind of get the best of both worlds there. And I feel like companies are doing a lot better job with that. And they're trying to use their assets that they have of sponsoring you guys or having brand ambassadors and helping you guys with it. So it's not all on their plate, and that way they can get more creative and diversified with their content as well.
So that's interesting that the human element actually gets more views than an action shot, but I guess that has to do with the algorithms. And, I know you're an expert on algorithms. Can you explain that to us for a second? How do algorithms work? Is there a hack? Are there ways around it? Have you able to figure out algorithms? And, just give us a quick 101, because it's something that I think a lot of racers on the call want to know. What type of content do I need to create so that the content gets caught by the platforms and shared to more followers? Or is it like Mr. B says, the algorithm is your audience. If your audience shares it, then it goes viral. How does that work exactly?
Yes. So algorithms are really not as complicated as people make them out to be. So an algorithm is basically the ranking process. So it sorts all of this massive volume of content that is coming in. So every single time a person makes a post, the platforms, Instagram and Facebook, have to sort through every single post and figure out which ones that you want to see. So that way it makes your social media experience interesting. And if you notice, every account is going to be different. So like for me, I see lots of like not only racing, but I see lots of cat videos or babies because I'm a mom now, and stuff like that. Whereas like my husband's, it's more about dirt bikes and construction and working out because that's what he's into. So every person's experience on social media is going to be different, and that's because of the algorithm. And so it estimates what type of post it thinks you're going to be interested in, and it takes that predictions and it has signals that it uses based on your history of what you have interacted with in the past. And it resets every single time you open up the app as well. And so there's four main algorithms on Instagram and Facebook. And so I'll go through them really quickly. The first one is stories. And so stories is, the circles of someone's profile picture you see, they're only up for 24 hours. And so the signals that the algorithms use for stories is first based off of your history of viewing. So are you even someone that watches stories? And then it goes into who are you interacting with? What video? So when you're watching someone else's video, who is it that you're watching? Do you like to watch a person's stories quite a bit? And so that one will show up first in your timeline. Then also, are you replying to them? Do you react to them? Are you sending them a message? And so that gets more points with the algorithm. And then the next signal is how close are you with that author? So is it someone that you like to interact with, not only on stories, but on your DMs, or do you comment on each other's posts? Or is it someone that maybe you've never talked to before on social media? So the next algorithm is for your feed. And again, this is accounts you follow. So stories and feed is accounts that you already follow. So the signals for your feed accounts is what are you interested in? So what type of posts have you interacted with in the past? So again, like I said, for me, I like funny cat videos because I have a cat. And so for me it shows, and you know what, this actually happened this week. So a few days ago I saw a post on Facebook of a cat that was up for adoption, and I thought it was the cutest thing ever, and I clicked on it, and now I am seeing tons of posts on my Facebook of cats up for adoption. And it's all because I clicked on that one post. So on your feed, it's the number one signal is what do you interact with? What's your interest? And then the next signal is how popular is that post? So is it something that a lot of people are viewing and sharing and clicking on? The next signal is information about that author. And then do you interact with that author? And so these are kind of things to think in mind of when you are posting on your stories or on your feed, to kind of think of, okay, I'm, for my audience, first off, need to see, is it something that my audience is actually interested in? Is it something that a lot of people are commenting on, liking, sharing? And then am I someone that interacts with my audience as well? So you need to go in, respond to comments, respond to your messages, go and comment on other people's posts. So that way it builds up those points with your interactions. And then there's two more really quickly. The third one is reels or videos. And these are accounts that you do not follow. So there's an explore page that's just for videos and reels. So the signals for that is number one, is this something you're going to be interested in based on what you've watched or liked in the past? The second one is it popular? The third signal is how likely are you to watch the full video? So the watch rate is very important. And you can see that in your analytics for each post to see what is the watch rate. So if you can get 25% to 50%, that's really good watch rate. If you can get more than 50%, people are watching almost your full video, that is amazing. So this is showing you videos that, depending on how long you watch the videos. And then the last one is just the regular explore page on Instagram. These are accounts that you do not follow. And the number one signal is based on the popularity of the post. The next signal is your history of the interest in that type. And then if you have ever interacted with that author again. So the main takeaways are on to get current followers to be watching your post is you need to interact with them. So again, leave comments, respond to your messages, give them a reason to reply to you or comment or share this post. And then the next one is consistency. And then the third takeaway is popularity. Whereas for your takeaways, if you're trying to get followers, the main takeaway is popularity. And then the context, the interest, and then interaction. So you can see it kind of switches. So if you have a goal, let's say maybe this month you want to get 100 new followers, well, then you should try to focus on creating content that you think is going to get really popular. So something that maybe it's really funny, entertaining, people are going to share it. So I do have an entire points ranking system of how you can get points for posting on Instagram and Facebook and how you rank on the algorithm. And it really breaks it down. I think there's like 25 areas on there where you can get points, and it's on a like 1 to 5 point system. And so I have it for free for you guys on the summit. So if you go to my website, motorsportsmarketingtips.com/scorecard, and I will comment that in the chat box so people can see it. If you go there, you can get access to the scorecard spreadsheet for free, and that's just for you guys in the off-road summit.
Well, thank you. That's awesome. Are we going to talk about that? And by the way, so those of you who don't know, Megan and I are going to host a session at PRI in December. We're going to host a session on social media. Are you going to talk about that at PRI as well?
Yes, we can.
So come join us. Come join us at PRI. We're on Saturday, I believe, at 10 a.m. I think that's right.
Yes.
I'll have to check the schedule again.
I think so.
But that's great. So I guess the main takeaway that I'm hearing here is that social media is not just about being creative, but it's about being logical. And there's a system that you can use in order to enhance your chances of getting your content to be shared. And maybe when you're making that content, you also want to be thinking about engagement, and will the viewers of that content engage your content? Like maybe asking questions or click if you like or something. You're encouraging them to interact with your post, if I'm hearing you correctly.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, there's two parts to social media. There's being social, and then there's posting media. And you really need to do both of them if you want to get really good at social media. A lot of times people just post media part, but they don't do the social part, but you got to do both.
Being social and posting media. I love that. Well, Megan, thank you so much. This was a great session. This is awesome. I look forward to seeing you in Indy at PRI and doing this again on a broad scale. And then for those of you who, I don't know if I said this earlier or not, but in January, we're going to host the 2024 Motorsports Sponsorship Summit. and we'll have more in-depth sessions on social media. Megan will lead those. So thank you, Megan. That was great. Now,
Yes, thanks for having me.